Hey everyone. Alright, today I'm going to show you how you can play the Japanese Super Famicom games on an American Super Nintendo. And it's pretty easy because right now I can't find a Super Famicom. So I'm going to take my Super Nintendo that's not in the best shape because I really don't care too much about this one. It's brittle, it's nasty looking. So I don't mind doing things to this one. So what the problem is, you see how smooth the back is with the Super Famicom, which this one's Dragon Ball Z. And then when you look at a regular American Super Nintendo one, there's slots right here on the back. Now the slots go in here to line the cartridge up. You should be able to see them where my thumb's pointing right there. So what you can do is you can take the top piece off, which what you'll need for that is, it's called a game bit security screwdriver. And I've already taken the screws out on this one. They're these funky looking little screws. Let's see if it'll focus on that. Can't get it to focus. But either way, they're funky little screws. They're not, they're not Phillips, they're not flatheads, they're not Allens, they're nothing like that. It's just some weird security bit. So what you do is, there's 6 screws and you turn it over and there's 6 screws that you take out on the bottom. And then once you got them out, you can just pop the top off. Sometimes the controller ports like to stick on the top, which is doing to me right now. All right. And then you can do, if you didn't want to remove the tabs on the top piece, you can always just take your Super Famicom game and just stick it in there. And then here's your on button. And you can always just do it that way. And as you can see, that works just fine. So if you don't want to mess around with your Super Nintendo shell and cut those tabs out, you can always just take the top piece off and do it this way. Just be careful that you don't spill nothing in there or just mess nothing up. But that's one way to do it. The other way is what we're gonna do, because like I said, I don't care about this one. I got it really cheap. And like I said, it's not in the best shape. It works great, but it's not in the best shape. So we'll put this out of the way for now. So what we'll do is, all you're gonna need here is just Phillips head screwdriver. We're gonna take all this stuff out, which it's not hard, so don't worry about messing anything up. It's really hard to mess these up. Just take all these screws out. And also, this is a good way for people to look. And if you really got to get in there and clean some stuff, this will also help you. Get that, don't want to come out. So also too, on the earlier model Super Nintendos, that right there, that just, if yours doesn't have that, don't worry about that. It's more the early models had that. It just locks the cartridge in place. So when it's on, you can't just pull it out. So if yours doesn't have it, don't worry about it. Nothing's wrong with yours. And this, same thing. Phillips head screwdriver. Take that off. This just lifts right off. Put that out of the way. You know, and like I said, it's easy to do. Just take this stuff out. And again, if you don't want to do like I'm getting ready to do and cut these tabs, just pull your top piece off and just put your cartridge in that way. That way you don't have to worry about damaging anything or removing anything, and your Super Nintendo stays in place. There's a little spring right there that just came undone. Pull that out. And then just watch, because you got screws in there still. All right. So what we're going to cut out are these two tabs right here. One there, one there. And all you're going to do is you're going to take some side cutters. Let's see. Make sure you can see that. And you're just going to cut them out. Oop, that one really broke off. So, again, this is why I'm doing it to a crappy one. Like I said, I don't care about it. You know, if you've got a really nice Super Nintendo, I'd say leave it alone, you know. I'd say don't worry about that, because, you know, if you got a really nice one, I've got other Super Nintendos that I'm not doing this to. They're just too nice. They're still a nice color and not brittle. That off of there. You know, let's try to get that out. And then if you really wanted to, you could come back in after you're done this, and you can take a Dremel or something and just clean that up. You don't have to, but I mean, if you want to go the extra mile, just clean that up. But with some side cutters, should be able to do a decent job. All right, so we're gonna go with that. And then all you're gonna do is just put it back together. I mean, it's not hard. There wasn't much to take apart. So just put that down there. Gotta find that spring that came off. Yeah, see, make sure you don't do like me and lose the spring. So, well, it doesn't matter. And where did that spring go? Oh, see that? I wasn't even paying attention. Spring was right here. Sorry about that. So, kind of trying to look at the camera and do this at the same time. So sorry about that. But spring just goes right there and just clips on right there. Oop. Yeah, watch it, because the screws right here hold this piece on. So just put that back in its holes right here. All right. So put these back in here. It's easier if you get a magnetic tip for a screwdriver. Just helps you so much better. Okay, 2 more to go. Well, 1 more to hold the plate down, 1 to hold that piece that stops the cartridge from coming out. All right, and again, if yours doesn't have this, it's nothing wrong with your Super Nintendo. It's just some models have it, some don't. There's a, don't forget, there's a little washer on this too. So don't lose the washer, because it does need to go over here. You know, it needs to sit over here, and then the screw will go right there. All right, let's put this back. All right, see in there. Like I said, if you wanted to, take a Dremel, you can clean that up better, but we're not gonna do that today. Now, take your Super Famicom game. Goes in there perfectly. And there you go. Now you can play your Super Nintendo games and your Super Famicom games. And really, you know, it's better to have them on the one anyway. That way you're not switching between a Super Nintendo American version and a Super Famicom too. So let's see. Plug in a controller here. Now, these Dragon Ball Z games, you know, the Japanese ones, if you don't know Japanese, it's hard, you know, you can't really play these. So I would try stuff that you don't really need to learn Japanese for. So like there's some stuff, you know, fighting games, stuff like that. There's certain stuff you're not gonna need to know Japanese. Like I have no clue, you know, what any of that is. And then let's try the Super Nintendo back in here, you know, and there you go. That fits in just like it should. So you didn't mess nothing up right there. And that's it. So think about it. It didn't take us too long to do, you know, just take the top piece off to just put your Super Famicom game in there, or take the top piece off, take the plate that's in there, and cut those tabs out. So yeah, it's not hard. Don't be afraid to do it. Like I said, I wouldn't, if it's a really nice Super Nintendo, no, not gonna do it. But a cheap, crappy one like this, yeah, go ahead. You're not gonna do anything. You're not gonna mess nothing up. If it's already falling apart, brittle and discolored like that, you know. So that's it. So hope this helped somebody.